Hello, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Rich Smith, and this is
Real Hunting. So I'm getting ready to do another food plot. This is going to be my third year of trying to establish a little bit more feed on my property here. It's the end of May and I've been working hard already, doing some fertilizing. Got some fertilizer spread based on my soil recommendations. I've got two different food plots I'm working on this year. The back half of my main plot that I've worked on the past 2 years, we're going to plant the Chicory Plus in that. It's a chicory and clover mix. And then the other spot over on my hill, I'm going to be putting in the Alfa-Rack, which is an alfalfa based product that also has a little bit of chicory and clover mixed into it. The hill is an interesting obstacle because it's a lot of clay. There's actually a lot of spots on the hill where nothing is growing at all right now. Fertilize those spots even heavier. My soil test was taken from those areas, so hopefully it all works out and we can get something to grow. It's the end of May. I've gotten kind of held up with my busy schedule and finally getting to make this happen. It rained like crazy this morning. Big storm came through and we've got another one coming in a few hours. So I'm going to try to get some of this tilling done and hopefully even get some seeding done before the rain comes. We'll see. I'm using the Chicory Plus and the Alfa-Rack because I want to try different products on my property and see what the deer like. The clover had a really good draw last year, but it didn't have a good draw until January and February. They were in the snow, they were digging the clover up and eating it. And we did get a couple photos of bucks on the property last winter during that time frame. So those guys should still be around this year and of course older. So they know that it's there. They liked it at that time of the year, but I've got so much agriculture around me. There's some very lush alfalfa fields in this area, so I'm not sure how the Alfa-Rack's going to do. The reason I'm planting the Chicory Plus is because, that doesn't grow anywhere around here. So if we can get the chicory going, maybe it'll be something that they'll like that they can't get anywhere else. I've got corn and sugar beets and soybeans and alfalfa all around me here, so it's a really tough agricultural area to compete with when it comes to getting food established for deer. So that's the plan. Let's get to it. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit too wet out here to do the work that I needed to do on the back side of my main food plot here. The tiller's just clumping up the ground because it's just too soft and muddy. Tractor's slipping and sliding. So I'm going to move on over to my hill and try tilling that. That'll be the first time this ground's been tilled, and see if we can get that broken up. With it being kind of a clay over there, it's good that it's wet because I should be able to break it up a little easier this morning. So maybe I can at least get that work done before the next rain moves in, but this spot's just too muddy right now to be able to take it on. So yesterday Took me a lot of time to get this new ground worked up. Spent about 4.5 hours tilling this. I think it's probably close to an acre in size. I was anticipating a half acre before I saw it tilled, but it's hard to tell because it's an odd shape. It's a hill, it goes down kind of behind me, and then all the way up the other side, and then up and makes an L shape up and by some taller popple trees where we can hoping to put a ladder stand up later this year. So what I just did is I took some oats and put them down. I know that wasn't part of the original plan, but a couple guys that I've talked to have had really good luck using a forage oat, and the last one I talked to, I told him what I was doing out here with the perennials, and he said you might want to put down an annual like an oat first before you roll your ground or pack it down, and then seed it with your perennial. So that's what I'm going to do. I decided to put the oats down on the rough till here. I'm going to roll this whole area to pack it down, then I'm going to seed it with the Alfa-Rack. And I probably won't have quite enough seed to do all this, so what I don't cover with that, I'm going to put some of the Chicory Plus down out here too, because I've got plenty of that left, or will have plenty of it left from the other spot that I'm planning on doing. The oats didn't get under the soil very far rolling them in, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully they germinate. That's how we like to do it here. Till it up, roll it, seed it, and then roll it again. And that gives us a good seed bed. Most of these seeds need to just be on the surface. They don't need to be underneath. So that's what we're going to do. And hopefully we have as good a luck as we did last year. We've got some more rain in the forecast. So if I can get this seeded tonight, I think it'll take off. Well, I got this area probably 2/3 covered with the recommended setting on my seeder, my spreader there. And I'm out of seed. I mixed the Alfa-Rack and the Chicory Plus together. I kept a little bit of the Chicory Plus for my other plot where I'm planning on planting that. So I do have some more of the Imperial Clover up at the house. I'm going to go grab that, and I guess I'll seed the rest of this plot with that. So we're going to have kind of a hodgepodge of forage out here, but at least something will be here. Okay, so I'm getting ready to seed the bottom of my hill here with a little bit of the Imperial Clover. I got to spread it real thin because I'm running out of seed here. I've got about a 1/4 acre down here, and I had about 2/3 of a bag of this left. I've also got a small spot on the top of the hill here too that I still need to seed. Alright, so there's a big job out of the way. Once it dries up here a little bit, I'm going to get the back side of the other food plot tilled, and we'll get some seed down on that. The Chicory Plus, and in a small section of that I'm going to put some more of the buck and oats. And I've actually found, when I was digging for my other seed, I found that I had a little bit of no plow left too, so we're going to do that. So we've got a whole variety of things we're going to grow out here. We're going to see what the deer get into the best, and we'll start checking back at the 2-week mark, and we'll go probably 2, 4, 6, 8 like that, like we've done in prior years, and have a look at what's going on. So stick around. What a beautiful day it is today. Beginning of July. I'm currently 4 weeks into my food plot project for this year. 4 weeks past the planting date. I'm happy to report that I'm currently standing on a hill that's full of alfalfa, clover, and chicory plants. My oats, I don't see any sign of the oats that I planted, but it doesn't surprise me. Alright, so we're 4 weeks into the hill, and we've had great weather. Every other day seems like it rains, and then the sun comes back out, and it keeps getting wet, and it keeps getting sunny, and mid-70s right now. Great weather for growing, and we got lucky this year because we got it in late. Alright, my other food plot, which was the focus of the first 2 food plot videos that I put together, the front half of that, as I call it, I planted with Imperial Clover last year, which is a perennial. That grew back this year great. I just mowed it 2 weeks ago. It was tall, getting some competing grasses in there that I needed to knock back down. The other half of this plot's been really tricky. It was tricky last year, and it's tricky this year because it's been so wet this year, I wasn't able to get it tilled. And I did till it and plant it 2 weeks ago, but after tilling it, I was not able to pack it and roll it, smooth it out before I put the seed down. It was pretty lumpy when I put the seed on it, and it's not growing real good. I didn't expect it to, but my other option was just wait and leave it for the fall and trying to do a fall planting, but I'm not the most patient person, so I just wanted to get the project done and get on to some other things. I've had such a busy schedule. So I got it planted. There are some plants growing, but it's not real pretty. All right, my third project is another small area. It's just off of my main food plot, as we'll call it. Now this plot, we're going to call it the leftover seed plot. It's exciting. I don't know how to hunt this spot. I might do it as a ground blind, and basically I had a little bit of everything left over, and it's all here. This plot is also 4 weeks old because the ground's a little bit higher. I was able to get it tilled when I tilled the hill, and everything I had left over went on this plot, and it's green, and I see some clover, and I see some winter greens, and that's about it right here. Really happy with the way the hills turned out this year. The Imperial Clover, the Alfa-Rack Plus, everything's growing really well. We haven't noticed a lot of deer activity on the property, but I haven't had trail cameras set up yet either. But at the 8-week mark, you know, I'm looking at vegetation that's anywhere from 6 to 8 inches high and completely filled in, all lush, looks really good. We're going to go over and check on my other food plot here in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm looking at my Imperial Clover plot that I planted last year. So this year I've been looking more at maintaining that plot rather than actually planting it. It was growing great this year, but then it had a lot of competing grasses in it, and you know, the grass that's out here on my property seriously gets 6 and 7 feet tall, so that can be a real challenge. I sprayed this about 3 weeks ago. It looks like the Arrest herbicide that I sprayed is doing its job on the grass, but the clover is looking kind of rough too. I don't know if it's because of the hot weather that we're having right now or what, but it had blossomed again, but a lot of that's brown now, and a lot of the plants aren't looking very strong. So if we can get out of this, if we can make it through August, maybe in September it'll get wet again, and I can give it another mow here. We'll mow it down and see if it'll spring back up for fall archery season. You know, every now and then you just kind of get lucky and things work out your way. I got lucky on this one because the food plot that's behind me right now, I was going to destroy. I was going to till it in. When I tilled it this year, it was way too wet. I planted it. The seeds didn't look like they were doing much at all. But because the seeds that did sprout were so spread out, they've really taken off. And what I've got behind me is a mix of the winter greens and basically the Chic Magnet, the chicory product, because I don't see any of the clover anymore. The chicory is huge. The winter greens plants are getting huge. It'll be really interesting to see how this plant draws this winter because there's a lot of food here right now. There's a lot of tonnage in this plot. I've got some big plants, and you know, a few weeks ago I'd given up on it. I thought, well, you know, once we get to the end of August, I'm just going to till it up again and throw some no plow on it, something like that for a fall planting. But hey, I'll take it, man. Less work for me, and it looks real good right now with a different product. You know, I really wanted the chicory on one side because I had the clover on the other end, and I just wanted to see what the deer prefer because I'm trying to draw deer onto a 13-acre piece of property in the middle of agricultural area. You know, we got corn, alfalfa, soybeans, sugar beets all around us here, and trying to figure out how to get those deer here. And I thought, well, with the chicory, maybe it'll give them something that they're not getting somewhere else. So we'll see how it works out, but I'm really happy because I thought I was going to be in for more work with a plot that didn't grow, and here we are. We gave it a couple weeks. I haven't been out here, and lucky me, look what I found. Let's go look at this other plot right over here and see what that looks like. All right, so sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. So I'll take the trade-off. All right, my back side of my main plot looks great with the chicory and the winter greens, and my leftover seed food plot looks awful. It's all grass. The whole thing's nothing but grass. I sprayed this twice this year to try to kill this stuff off before I tilled it up, and yeah, not looking too good. So this one I'm probably going to try to kill off again and till it and replant it for the fall. So a little more work in the forecast for me, I guess, but yeah, this plot didn't work out. All right, it's time for our 12-week checkup. And just finishing up seeding what I was calling earlier this year my leftover seed food plot. If you remember right, at the 8-week mark, we had this completely overrun with grass. So what I did last week is I mowed it down and I sprayed it brown, killed it, and I just tilled it and threw some no plow on it. We're going to use some no plow out here since it's late in the year. It's the very end of August, and we got a little bit of growing time still in September, hopefully, and we'll see if some of this no plow doesn't hit. The work that I'm doing out here, I got to point out, you know, I'm showing you everything. I'm not saying I'm doing it all right or by the book or whatever, but let me tell you, I'm showing you everything. But some people just can't get enough. And like I got this guy flying around spying on my food plot. I know that's why he must have been around, right? He says, I know Quinn's got a food plot. I got to see what's going on. Well, all he had to do was just watch the video, right? Look it up on the internet and watch the video. But look at what this guy's doing. He's really put a lot of money into figuring out what I'm doing with my food plot. Hey! Hey! Watch the video! Real-hunting.com. Yeah, watch the video. The chicory looks awesome. Great big chicory plants, great big brassica plants mixed in there with it. Kind of my mixture of the Chic Magnet and the winter greens. And primo food plot. Got a few tall weeds out there, but looks really good. My clover, I mowed it down last week. I developed some more weeds in it, some more grass that I was having a hard time with. I did spray the arrest on it, and the arrest killed the grass back pretty good. I'm going to have to treat it in the spring, but my clover had a lot of dead in it too, so I mowed that down last week. It's coming back nice. And then we've got the path. Now the purpose of the path is that it comes right out of the cover that I've got here on the property and leads into the clover. And on the path, we've got a tree stand situation set up, and should be a good ambush spot if we can get them to start using that. All right, so I guess that's it for our 12-week checkup. We're going to check back again at 16. Hopefully this plot and the path will both be sprouting good. We got some 80-degree weather still ahead of us in the forecast. Hopefully we'll get some rain, get this stuff shooting up, and see if we can get some tracks out here. Checking back in here a little bit beyond the 16-week mark. Tried to hit it right on, but my schedule's been so busy I just couldn't make it happen. You know, overall I'm really happy with the way everything's grown. My chicory and winter greens mix that I made looks great. The Imperial Clover field that I have looks great. Mowed that a few weeks ago. I've got a couple no plow spots I put in. My path actually leads back into the cover, and I've got a tree stand set up on the side of that for an ambush. And then we've got the other no plow plot too that started out different this year, and we tilled her back up and planted that, so that's greening up too. Not a lot of deer activity. I've had trail cameras out a little bit, and really only one adult doe and a yearling keep frequenting the property right now. My major project this year was the hill, and the hill turned out really good. Lots of alfalfa, lots of clover, few weeds, but overall what's growing here is the food source. So I've got another tree stand set up where the thick cover meets this plot, and we'll just see how it goes this year. You know, hopefully we'll get something off of this plot, and we can show you that later on. But either way, we'll check back in after hunting season and let you know how it turned out. All right, guys. Well, it's the evening of December 11th, and I'm just wrapping up what's going to be my final night of this season. I've been making a strong effort this last week. I've been out 3 times and I haven't had anything to show you. So I drove around the state land today, and the deer tracks have all been replaced by tire tracks, and you know, all the scrape and rub activity that was so exciting and so prevalent just 1 month ago is all fading away. So it's time to call it a year. But what a great year I've had, I gotta tell you. You know, I put a lot of work into my property this year and put in some food plots. I've been playing around with food plots for the last 3 years. Finally found some seed that worked well for me, and we held some deer around. I was able to get a great buck off of my own land, my first buck off my own property, and even better than that, I had the opportunity to get my kids involved. And what that does is it changes that memory from my deer to our deer, and that's very important to me. Gavin did a great job tracking that buck, and I was glad to have Caden helping too. This is a special year for me. I'm celebrating, and I truly am celebrating, my 25th year deer hunting here in Michigan. I've been hunting white-tailed deer now for 25 years and loving every minute of it. I've been taking a walk around my property this morning, just in amazement at the amount of deer tracks that I have. Both of my food plots are completely full of deer tracks right now, and I totally accomplished what I wanted to this year with the food plots. Breaking it down one product at a time, the buck and oats that I planted, the oat product, it grew, and they ate it, but it didn't grow great. But that's no fault of the product, because I didn't really have the proper planting technique. I don't have a drill to put those oat seeds down into the ground, and nonetheless it grew and they ate it. The 2 no-plow plots that I put in, both the plot and the path, they used those areas. In fact, I had a small 6-point hanging out on the property this year, and he was making scrapes in the no-plow plot under an autumn olive branch. And the path didn't really work out like I wanted it to. The deer liked the cover more than the path, so either way, got to see some deer munching on some no-plow, not like I did with the other products. So the Clover, Imperial Clover, of course, was excellent. It came in great in the spring and early summer. In fact, one day we went walking out back, and there was a brand new fawn laying there, bedded down in the clover, and really neat stuff. And right now, those deer are tearing that clover up in the snow. They are digging it up. They're eating it. I see spots on the hill out here that I'm looking at right now, and of course in my other food plot, like we're showing you, they're just hammering it. The chicory, the Chic Magnet, oh my gosh, best thing I've planted yet. The chicory was a magnet. Unbelievable how it drew those deer in through October and the first week of November. Once it got cold, it went away, the bigger leaves that they didn't eat. But honestly, they probably ate 75% of that food plot down to nothing. I mean, nothing but dirt. It was gone. They devastated the chicory. I'm planting a lot more of that next year because those deer were coming from every direction into that plot. It was really amazing. And then, of course, the Alfa-Rack. We've got the alfalfa product out here on the hill that's browned up now. I don't know if they liked that as well as the clover that's out here or the chicory that's mixed in with it, but either way, I saw deer on the hill a lot from my tree stand. Now, I planted the hill because I know that deer cut through this edge of the property, and I wanted to slow them down and tell them, hey, wait, there's something worth staying here for, and that totally worked. So 100% success this year with the food plots, and to top it all off, I got to get my first buck off my own land. Totally awesome year. I got a nice 2.5-year-old big 15-inch 6-point, and had an opportunity at an 8.2 that I missed. So what can I say? It's been a great year. My food plot work has paid off. 3 years into it, you know, it takes some patience and it takes a lot of work, but 3 years into it, I'm finding some products that work for me. I got to see lots of deer utilizing the land the way that I intended to. The work that I've done is paying off. I'm doing habitat improvements. I'm holding more deer on my land because of it, and it's great. So I guess that's it. We're going to wrap it up, and thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.